Hey guys, I'm the Math Professor. In this video, we're going to talk about how you can find a missing length when you have two chords that kind of crisscross each other inside a circle. All right, so when that happens, you're going to have two different parts for both. What I mean by that is here's a 9 and here's an x, but it's on the same chord. What you want to do to solve for that x is you're going to multiply those two parts together, 9 times x. Do off to the side over here, 9 times x is just 9x. You're going to do the same exact thing for the other chord, all right? You're going to set it equal to 3 times 6. And of course, 3 times 6 is 18. So now I have 9x equals 18. And to divide by 9 here, we'll solve for x and get x equals 2. All right, let's do a little bit of a harder one where we have to factor. All right, in the second example, we're going to do the exact same thing we did in the first example. I'm going to take each of these parts and multiply those together. So here's 6 times 6, of course, is 36. And then we're going to set that equal to the other ones multiplied together. Now, a little trick, if you have a binomial 2 terms and a monomial 1 term, you want to put the monomial outside the binomial. What I mean by that is you're just going to say 3x times, in parentheses, x plus 1. Okay, now I can distribute that in, which I'll do for you real quick. All right, it leaves us with 36 equals 3x squared plus 3x. Now, since we have an x squared and an x term, we want to probably factor here. However, I'm also seeing that there's a greatest common factor of 3 that I can take out right away. So if I take out the 3, I divide by 3 on both sides, this leaves me with now 12 equals x squared plus x. And then I want to set this equal to 0, so I'm going to move the 12 over. All right, so now it's x squared plus x minus 12 equals 0. Okay, again, if there was just an x squared, we could solve. If there was just an x, we could solve. But if there's both of those things, we have to do what's called factoring. If you don't know how to do that, I'll put a link to another factoring video up there for you. Otherwise, we can remember that we take our a term times our c term, which in this case is negative 12. You want to find numbers that multiply to be negative 12 and add to be negative 1. Some teachers use a graphic organizer to help you out with that. Numbers that multiply to be your a times c, negative 12, and add to be your b term, 1, are going to be a 3 and a 4. And we have to make one of those negatives, since this is a negative, we multiply. And in order to add, when I get a positive 1, I'd make the 3 negative, right? 4 minus 3 is 1. And then negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. So this factors, in parentheses, to be x minus 3 and x plus 4. All right, and then since this is equal to 0, we have to set ours equal to 0 and solve. Okay, so what minus 3 is 0? Well, that of course would be 3, and what plus 4 is 0? That would be a negative 4. Now, if I look at my picture here, we have to be a little bit careful. When I plug this back in, I can't really have negative distances in this picture. So for example, here there's x plus 1. Well, if I take 3 plus 1, that's a positive 4. That's good. That's not negative. We can have a positive distance. But if I put negative 4 plus 1, that's a negative 3. There's no such thing as a negative 3 amount of space. Space can't be a negative, okay? So because of that, the negative 4 does not work, and we're only going to be left with the positive 3 for our answer in x here. Hey guys, if the circle video helped you out, you might find this video also helpful, as it's also on some circles. And until next time, keep doing your math fast and accurately.